Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma Lefebvre and welcome to day 10 of our 12 days of mini holiday landscape paintings. I really hope you guys are all enjoying this series, so let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, welcome to day 10 of our 12 days of mini holiday landscape paintings. Today we are going to be painting some more landscapes. I have my mini piece of paper. It's Bauhong Academy watercolor paper, 100% cotton, cold pressed, taped down with some painter's tape. I have my split primary palette with some indigo in it in my ceramic palette from Craftimo, and I have some of my smaller brushes here, a size 6 and 2 round. These are my travel brushes that are not available just yet, but will be soon. But get yourself some small, very nicely pointed brushes for this. I also have this Dr. Paige Martin's Bleed Proof White ink, which I use in almost every video. You're just going to need an opaque white paint. Could be this, could be gouache, could be acrylic, could be a white acrylic marker, whatever you have handy. And I think we're ready to go. Okay, so for the first thing we're gonna do is I think we're gonna use just only a couple colors for this. We're gonna do, some wintry trees. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I'm gonna grab some permanent rose and some phthalo blue. And I mixed it a little bit with indigo here. A little bit more permanent rose. I want it to be more purpley. A little bit more blue. All right. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create my horizon line. It's going to have a little bit of a dip to it. Like that. Okay? So it kind of goes down just a little bit in the middle. Like so. All right, and I'm just going to wet up the background. It's slightly purple. Then, while it's still wet, I'm going to grab my color and I'm going to tap my horizon line a little bit more pink. And I'm just going to do these out of focus trees in the background. Like so. I want a little bit more blue to it, I think. There we go. You can mix both of them. I'm just doing these vertical lines, and because the background is wet, we're getting these cool kind of out of focus trees like that. Okay. I'm going to grab a little bit more and just kind of make it a little bit darker, maybe even a little bit of indigo right at the base, so it looks like there's another little tree line of darker trees. This is all still wet while I'm doing this. Just little vertical lines, and I'm tapping it like I'm releasing my brush, lifting it up at the base here, because that's where you get those little wet on wet explosions. All right, then I'm going to take a light wash of this, and we're going to do like a little river kind of coming down the middle. So I'm going to do like a really flattened out S shape. Okay, and it's the smallest, most narrow back here. And as we come closer, it's going to get wider. Like that. See that? All right. I'm going to add just a little bit more water to it. You can kind of just manipulate the shape however you'd like. Doesn't have to be an actual S. And I'm going to make it all evenly wet, because then I'm just going to take a little bit more of that darker color and I'm going to tap it towards the edge. So it's a little bit darker around the edge. You can even take your brush, wash and dry it off, kind of lift up a little bit of a highlight in the middle here. And you just want it slightly darker around the edge like that. Okay, and then we're going to let that completely dry. Okay, now that it's dry, I'm just going to take a little light wash of my purpley color maybe even a little bit of ultramarine in there. And I'm just going to kind of skim it from the side over to get a little bit of this dry brush effect. So you don't want a ton of color or water on your brush. You want it to be fairly light, but we need a little bit of shadow and to kind of show off the frame. If you do too much, you could always take your white after, your white opaque paint, and kind of do the same thing to get more white on there. All right, and then make sure that is completely dry before you continue. Okay, now we're gonna do some trees in the foreground. I'm gonna do some evergreen trees, just using a little bit of indigo. I'm gonna do one right here. I'm gonna do a vertical line up, and everything's dry, so you're getting nice sharp lines. And I'm doing these tiny little V's at the top, and then it's just going to come down. I'm just tapping the tip of my brush really loosely, but not a lot of pressure, really light, so I'm getting just the tip and getting these really tiny marks and just going back and forth. We're going to add some snowfall on these trees, so you don't have to make it super dense with the dark color. Okay, like that. I'm going to do another, I think 2 over here. I'm going to do one closer to the side. If you want more info on how to paint these trees a little bit more in depth, you can watch video 1 of this 12-day series where I kind of go over tips and tricks of painting tiny and also a little bit of the painting trees. And then you can always come back and watch. Or I do have like tons of other videos on painting trees. If you just look up Emma Lefebvre trees on YouTube, all of my tree videos will come up. Now this is a fairly easy painting to do. I love this one. Simple, not too intricate or detailed, just nice and easy. Okay. Then I'm just going to wash off my brush, dry it a little bit, and I'm just going to just skim. Just take a little bit of that color and just skim it down so it looks like they're on a bit of a hill. I'm just taking the tiniest bit of that color, and it creates this kind of like shadow. You really just want to gently touch it. Not a lot of water, not a lot of pressure. Very nice and gentle. I'm going to take a little bit of indigo and just kind of do a little bit of shadow in here. Like that, just a little bit of darkness around some of the curves. If you wanted to, you could always kind of skim across too, so it looks like there's a bit of shadow. Gives it a little bit more depth. Like that. And then wait for that to dry and we'll add our snow. Okay, now I'm gonna take my bleed proof white ink and I'm just going to apply it to the tree, just tapping snowfall on the tree back and forth. That. I love it. And again, like I said, if you feel like you went too deep with the shadow, you can always just grab your white paint and kind of do a little bit more, you know, dry brush or whatever. You can always add a little bit more light like that. If you wanted to add more of these trees back there, you definitely could. I feel like we could. Maybe just like a couple in the background here. Like that. It's up to you though. You don't have to. Make it as easy as you'd like. Or as many trees as you like. Just wait for those to dry and then add your white. And then I'm gonna finish it off with a little bit of snow splatter. And there we go. Let's pop it in a frame. And there we go. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.